It's what Solzhenitsyn says at one point in Gulag Archipelago, in that passage where he describes when we heard the footsteps on the staircase and the knock was on our neighbor's door and we knew our neighbor was being taken away. Why did we not stop them? And in the case of the revolutionary government in Iran, it's the same answer as whether it's Hamas governing Gaza with the people, whoever the people in Gaza are, who would have liked to have seen them overthrown. Or it's, you know, people don't realize that despite the rhetoric and everything else, everything changes if the other guy might kill you. And that, when the Green Revolution in 2009 started in Iran, why was it put down? Why didn't it work? Why, like you, the sort of Iranians who I really hope one day get their country back, why did all these smart young students and others, why after they came out, why was it put down? It was put down because the Basij militia will shoot you in the head and they'll take you to a prison, as they did with the Iranian students, and they'll rape you with bottles and kill you. And even a little bit of that goes an awfully long way to tell the rest of society not to do it again. We know it happens like that from films, but too few people understand that regimes like that in Tehran operate like that on a grand scale, on the biggest of scales, and with the ultimate of brutality. And that's how they stay in power. And one other thing on that, by the way, which is, I was reminded of this the other day, but, thinking about this sort of, what I've just described as a sort of a problem in democracies is that we just, we like to think everyone thinks like us, and, we'd like everyone to sort of be like us. And we believe fictions that we're taught in films like, everyone basically wants the same things as us. And you go, you haven't stepped outside the walls of the city if you think that. But the second thing is this thing of the death cults, of why we sort of singly fail to understand that this is possible. And Khomeinism is both very specific and also very strongly linked to totalitarian and radical and extremist death cult movements that are not that far in our past. I mean, there's a moment in when Oriana Fallaci interviewed the Ayatollah Khomeini in 1979, one of the very few Western journalists to do so. She says to him, these people in the street, this movement, this revolution you've begun, it's guided by hate. It's hate. It's all hate. And Khomeini says, no, it's love. It's love. And it's actually a scene that appears in the Satanic Verses of Rushdie, where that exact same thing happens. But I was thinking about this recently because I was thinking, but how can you explain to a Western mindset that that's something that's going on? That there are people directed by this hate that calls itself love. This, and I was reminded of a book I haven't read since I was probably a teenager or something. It made a great impression on me then. Did you ever read The Tragic Sense of Life? Miguel de Unamuno, a great Spanish existentialist philosopher who died in the 30s. Unamuno had an encounter with students at the university in the 30s when he realized, this is the early period of the Francoists, de Rivera and all those people. Unamuno is at this meeting and the chant goes up from the eager students who have fallen into this sort of phalangist, Francoist ideology already. They end up chanting in front of him as he's trying to defend the principles by which he has lived his life. They end up chanting in front of him, Viva la muerte. Long live death. Long live death. And he tries to explain to them, this is This is a necrophilic chant.
Yeah.
But those young men in pre-Franco Spain shouting "Long live death," they have their counterparts today. They are the people who taunt Americans, Westerners, Israelis, and others with lines like, "We love death more than you love life."
Yeah, that's the line you return to. That's a really difficult line to load in. Because if you base your whole existence on that notion, then, well, you're a danger to the world. That's a good foundation for committing evil.